പ്രതിഭാസമേ സർഗപ്രതിഭാസമേ പ്രണമിക്കുന്നു ഞങ്ങൾ പ്രസാദമരുളേണമേ അക്ഷരദീപം കൊളുത്തി അത്ഭുതലോകം വിടത്തി വിശ്വം മുഴുതും വീടായി മറ്റും വിശ്വം മുഴുതും വീടായി മറ്റും വിജ്ഞാനനിധി തേടുന്നു ഞങ്ങൾ വിജ്ഞാനനിധി തേടുന്നു പ്രപഞ്ചമാകെ വെളിച്ചം വിടത്തും പ്രതിഭാസമേ സർഗപ്രതിഭാസമേ പ്രണമിക്കുന്നു ഞങ്ങൾ പ്രസാദമരുളേണമേ പ്രസാദമരുളേണമേ.
To light the Kuttuvilakku as an auspicious beginning of this national seminar. Welcome address.
Good morning. I extend a very warm welcome to everyone gathered here. My special welcome to Dr. R. Satyanathan, Head Department of Psychiatry, Sri Ramachandra University, Chennai, former Director, Institute of Mental Health, Chennai, who has consented to inaugurate and deliver the keynote address on this national seminar on the psychology of gender, bridging the gaps. I welcome our correspondent, Dr. Lata Rajendran, Chairman Mr. Kumar Rajendran, special invitees, faculty and students from other institutions and our own students. This national seminar on the psychology of gender, bridging the gaps, organized by the Department of Psychology, I am sure will bring to light recent approaches and debates on the relevant issues. I congratulate the Department of Psychology for organizing this seminar. I wish all the participants an enriching and a very interesting day ahead. Thank you.
Our chief guest, Dr. R. Satyanathan, former Director, Institute of Mental Health, Head Department of Psychiatry, Sri Ramachandra University, Chennai, with a tambulam and a memento. Of Psychology to enlighten the audience on the dynamics of the seminar and to introduce our chief guest, Dr. R. Satyanathan, to the audience.
I've been looking forward to since a few months. It is this very day. I bid a very warm welcome to our eminent speakers and delegates who have travelled here from varying distances. I take great pleasure too in extending a personal welcome to every one of you. Now, in presenting the dynamics of this seminar, The Psychology of Gender, I would like to bring your attention to the Gender Inequality Index released by the UNDP last year, which placed our country in the 130th position out of 146. The Times of India recorded in its November edition of 2015 that the most disturbing trend to emerge out of the National Crime Record Bureau data is that consistently for over 2 decades, every 5th suicide in India is by a housewife. I think this forum needs no reminders of the psychological and other relevant issues associated with the social exclusion of the invisible population, the third gender. Put together, the aforementioned concerns instigated us to initiate deliberations on the missing gaps in gender research, changing gender roles, emerging gender-specific challenges and opportunities, psychological resources for gender adaptation in the context of a fast-paced, technology-driven lifestyle. While statistics offer insights into current patterns in behavior, they do not address why the skills and talents of women or the third gender are not being fully utilized. As psychologists, we are all aware that mental health issues unravel several gender disparities. Being a critical determinant of mental health and mental illness, gender determines the differential power and control men, women, and the third gender have over the socio-economic determinants of their mental health and lives, their social position, status, and treatment in society, and their susceptibility and exposure to specific mental health risks. Unfortunately, the morbidity associated with mental illness has received substantially more attention than the gender-specific determinants and mechanisms that promote and protect mental health and foster resilience to stress and adversity. Now coming to some statistics. Depressive disorders account for close to 41.9% of the disability from neuropsychiatric disorders among women compared to 29.3% among men. Leading mental health problems of the older adults are depression, organic brain syndromes and dementias, and a majority of the sufferers are women. An estimated 80% of 50 million people affected by violent conflicts, civil wars, disasters, and displacement are women and children. At least 1 in 5 women suffers rape or attempted rape in their lifetime. Unconscious bias is particularly important as it arises from the implicit assumptions and unspoken attitudes, beliefs, and expectations that we all have about others. When we pair the psychological evidence with the economic facts, the argument for gender equality is overwhelming. A growing body of evidence suggests that gender inequality, including gender-based violence, is the key obstacle to better outcomes related to the ability of women and girls to protect themselves from HIV, prevent unintended pregnancies and access and continue to use HIV prevention, care and treatment services. So this national seminar aims to accumulate research evidence on gender disparities, associated mediating and protective factors, related issues, and current concerns. We look forward to valuable words of wisdom and experience from our distinguished speakers and researchers that could enhance the capacities of the psychological fraternity to offer professional help to the needy. On behalf of the Psychology Department, I wish you once again a fruitful learning experience. On behalf of everyone present here, I heartily and respectfully welcome the chief guest for the day, Dr. R. Satyanathan. I'm especially thankful to him as when we approached him with the invitation and requested him to grace the association, he accepted our request and readily agreed to that. Thank you, sir. Dr. Satyanathan is a renowned psychiatrist with 38 years of experience in clinical practice and teaching. He is currently the head of the Psychiatry Department and of the Geriatric Care Clinic in Sri Ramachandra Medical College. He has served as the Director of Institute of Mental Health, Chennai. He has served as the Program Director of several government projects, including Certificate Course on Basic Issues in Geriatric Care and Certificate Course in Geriatric Care for Bedside Assistance, sponsored by the National Institute of Social Defense, to name a few. He has organized several programs for executives in various public and private sector concerns, leadership training, stress management, time management, and managerial skills. He is a recipient of numerous awards and honors. The Tour Fellowship Rotation Sites from New York, the Sandoz Gerontological Award, Greece, the Inclin Fellowship Award, North Carolina, the Inclin Grant from Cairo, the Leadership Recognition Award, Washington, Rockefeller Foundation Award, Mexico, Beck's Teacher Award from Dr. MGR Medical University are a few among the innumerable honors that have been bestowed upon him. He has conducted extensive research in the fields of psychiatry and gerontology and has numerous national and international publications to his name. We are most honored to have you here, sir. I humbly request you to deliver the inaugural address.
Good morning to every one of you here. The most respected, the principal of Dr. M.G.R. Janaki College, Dr. Mani Mekalai, Dr. Lada Rajendran, the pillar and the correspondent of Dr. M.G.R. Janaki College, my friend Dr. Rahita, who is the head department of psychology, the faculty from the Department of Psychology, and people who have come from the other places from Karnataka and Andhra. We could see that any number of Dr. Vidubala, Binit Thambi and other people, and then my dear young students. I always enjoy being among students because sometimes I feel like being with normal people or so-called normal people. Hopefully, because nobody is normal from my side, and then because whenever you work in Department of Psychiatry, whenever you get an opportunity, I always enjoy being with students. You always feel young and energetic and all those things. And especially this particular topic and the seminar, the national seminar on gender inequality is the current thing that we need to be really focused on and all these things. But why this happens? Because of there is a complex interplay of biological, developmental and socio-cultural factors with which the day from the day the baby is born, the gynecologist delivers the baby, it's a female, the ayah comes, takes the baby, show it to the parents and get 100 rupees. If it is a boy, she handles like that, goes and then she gets 500 rupees. That's where the disparity starts when the day is delivered, the baby is delivered and all. It's very unfortunate. But you're all very, very fortunate because you have been born in this century. My grandmother, who died at the age of 99.4 months, just for 6 months before she died and before we celebrated her 100th year, she used to tell us when she was a small little girl, maybe at the age of 7 years or 8 years, her grandmother used to put lot of oil on her head, use this pain seep or something, you do not know, they just put this hair, all the hair is taken like this, put an Uda ribbon or a blue ribbon, whatever you call, make it very tight so that the hair should not, even the hair should not fly. And on top of it, she will be dragged to the backyard where there is a neem tree, they will make some paste, will be there, put the paste here and all these things. I don't know whether anyone of you can tolerate if your grandmother does it now, probably they will get a slap or something. But then, imagine, that is how they have been brought up. The day you reach menarche, it finished. You can't come out, you cannot go there, and you can't see guys, and only the Jannal Oram is the only from where you are supposed to watch and all. So you are all very fortunate. That's how they have been brought up. But nobody says anything, you know. My grandfather and his friend were Kadambur, Jamindar and all this. Instead, when they are used to have lunch, the Jamindar's wife will stand there, not even near that dining table. She will stand there. Her job is only to look at the husband's face to see whether he likes kottavarangai or whether he likes vendakai. If he takes kottavarangai, she orders and only that. I mean, kuriparindu. So the only job a woman does is procreation and recreation, and then see to it. Very unfortunate. But see, this is what happening and all these things. Nobody did. If there is a small stone or something like that, he will take and then put it something like that, because when you are cooking for the husband, how can he be so careless? But this all happened. It's not a really fantasy or a story, but this is how women, right from the day they were born, the discrimination started and all these things. Who had education? Very few had education and all these things. Only now. Even when I was an MBBS student, first 2 rows will be girls. Rest will be all boys. But when I teach now in Madras Medical College, I find 65% girls and only boys are sitting there in the 2 or 3 benches. It's a remarkable thing. Maybe 100 years back, then you would be doing only 16 pulli kolam or 18 pulli kolam, and then that's the only job and all these things. See, even infanticide is very common those days and all. Even near Madurai and other places and all, the female child is born. The mamiyar is so unhappy, she will take the child and then she will be doing some talate, but put some umi and water inside and hold it like that, and the child dies. And then they will, this is what they do and all that thing. This is how women had been brought up and all these things. But then They never had any problem, because I don't know whether my grandmother would have become unhappy or not, because that is a social role that they were supposed to play, and they were not unhappy and all these things. But then when we look at it, then it becomes the worstest thing. I'll tell you a story of a widow who came to me for some sort of a depression. She told me when she was a 7-year-old girl, she was playing, and then there were a lot of bullock carts came, and all of them came, and then there was a lot of jubilation, and then she was dressed with some pavade and all, and she was given bath and had all laddus and bashanam, all these things for 3 days. On 4th day, she got married to another 11-year-old boy. So, Bali Vivagam. But even though we have been talking about this was happening. So she was got married. For her, it's just a play, happiness, no? Like Diwali function, they were happily playing and all these things. And after 1-2 weeks, that the entire group went away. And after 3 months, again the bullock carts came. But only thing is that this time everybody was crying and came, because the boy was bitten by a snake and he died. Her husband, with whom she never even lived even a 1 day, she was died. And then so they came and shaved her head, and that's the end. She cannot. So, but 50 years she tolerated, but then I was boiling inside when I was talking to her, how did you tolerate this thing? But then this is what has been happening. What I am trying to make you understand is, the socio-cultural views, these are different. When the first day when I went to take, I was in North Carolina, I was supposed to take a class for 30 MBA students. I thought the classroom will be like this, and I went and shocked. People were wearing shorts, and then they were sipping coke, and then the girls were putting their legs on top of the table. But that is a culture. I mean, you cannot blame them, because you cannot go and tell a fish you are in water, because fish is what is a big deal. From the day I was born, I was in water. To us, it looks like it is in fish. Something like that. There are a lot of socio-cultural views. It had its own protection. All these elderly people and children were looked after by women who were sitting at home and then doing. But then when you talk about empowerment and employment, these people, but there's a different story. But then there has always been an inequality. Even the play, the little ones will play with the Barbie doll, whereas the boys will be climbing the trees and playing Marakoranga or something like that, whereas these girls will be making cradles and all these things. So the gender role, gender identification, all these things, as a psychologist you need to understand, and emotions, the way you express. A girl can cry, a boy should not cry, something like that. No? This always happens, the childhood play, that it's all learning through this observation of the models, looking at the grandmother, looking at the mother, and then establishing the gender role starts and all these things. And so there are a lot of theories on psychology, will think about social role theories and personality traits and empathy. The women were supposed to be more empathetic and understanding and all these things. So that is the reason why we have been talking about bridging the gap and all this. Even the food, there is no food security. Whatever is cooked, all the males will come and then eat. Whatever it is left. The worst thing is that on the day of marriage, you are supposed to eat what your husband has left. I don't know what sort of a rule, but then women enjoy doing it and all these things. So one woman told me, and then on the day of marriage, she told her sister, my God, my husband is so smelly, and I think he has taken alcohol and all. But he said, men are like that. You have to tolerate, close your eyes, and then think of Vinayaga or something like that. Close your eyes for 5 minutes, then everything will happen. That fellows will sleep and all these things, and then you'll have the freedom. See, unfortunate. But this is what. So even the food, I mean, it is not that you like and then you have. Things are changing. Things are changing a lot and all these things. But I want to tell you how you have been fortunate now to live and all these things. So you can go to the Pizza Hut, or you can go and order whatever you want and all these things. But then women were not exposed to all these things. So, and then missing women. I was talking about infanticide. There are about 100 million people who disappeared from the world. We do not know because of these things and all these things. Even labor and employment. If you look at labor, the bricks you are supposed to carry, Sittal will be a woman who will be getting 300 rupees. The Periyal will be a man who will be getting 450 for the same work. But nobody questions and all these things. Violence against women. This is again an issue that has been there for so many years and all these things. In Tokyo, we have seen a presentation where the mother-in-law has put a chili powder. Last week I saw elderly people who came because the son was working in Hyundai, died in an accident 5 days after marriage, and then this is something like that, no? With very important this thing, and then they were immediately. The worst thing is that I don't know, like in some movies and all these things, that really it happens and all. Sister was not unhappy with her marriage. Whenever she comes home to her her parents' place, she used to tell her all about stories. Okay, then they listen and then say, no, you cannot be what you call a walaviti in Tamil. You cannot be sitting at home. Somehow you have to accept and adjust. The man need not adjust, but woman need to. One of my friends, she got married. She is from a North Indian family. Her father will come only at 11:30 from the office. Then they will have these aloo parathas and all these things. So when we come from a second show movie, at that time only the kitchen will be busy and then we can get the smell of parathas and all these things. That's how she had been brought up. They go to bed at 12:30, 1 o'clock and then get up at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock and all. That's how they have been brought up. But then she got married. So he got married and went to her house. 8:30, father-in-law will yawn and he will go to bed. 8:45, Mill, we used to call Mill, his mother-in-law. So Mill will go to bed at 8:45. Darling husband will start yawning at 9:15. And then she said that, Sati, I've never been like that because our sleeping time starts only at after midnight and all. But then here 9:30, everybody, I don't want to even switch on the light now to disturb them. So I used to put small torch light and read or something like that. But after some time she gets adjusted. Because what I'm trying to say is that the husband need not adjust. If husband doesn't like garlic, oh, Chandruku garlic pudikadu or garlic pudikadu. So that is how these people are brought up and all these things. Things are becoming, even labor, employment, and then violence. This is very common. I saw a small little girl who was brought to the KHM hospital in a root shock. She was almost in a state of shock. She was not speaking and all these things. Finally, after some persuasion and then a little bit of small, I didn't give any pentothal reactions and all because a 7-year-old girl, small injection and then made her relax and then she started crying. See, what she told was that previous night the father came home drunk and there was a quarrel between the father and mother and the little one got up and saw the father and mother fighting. And then the mother was furious. She said, okay, I don't want to live with you. And she took the dupatta and then she was throwing it on the fan to take. The husband came running, took a chair and put it in a, okay, I will help you to hang yourself. Get on, you cannot reach the fan. Get on top of this. See, imagine this thing. And poor little daughter, looking at it, she went in for a severe shock. All these things happened and all these things. And another little girl was brought. The parents went to some marriage in Madurantakam. So they asked the neighbor lady to take care of their daughter and son. I think around 12 years or 13 years old girl, and suddenly she attained menarche. When she saw the blood, and because many of them are not basically prepared. We talk about stay free and all, maybe in an urban setup and all these things. But then many of these rural villages, they may not know much about all these things. And then this girl was not mentally prepared for this thing. So when she started slight spotting or bleeding, and then she became very confused, couldn't tell the younger brother, and she went and told the neighbor lady. Neighbor lady went into a state of panic. She cried, and then she took her there, put her in a bathroom, poured water and bucket full of water, and put some all this turmeric and all these things. Said, do you do these things? You stop going to school and all. By the time the parents returned in the evening, all damage had been done. She had been told that something unfortunate had happened because becoming a big girl. No, I'm telling even, but I don't think, I mean, boys come with a different sort of thing, but this sort of a story is only existing with the girl children and all these things. Inheritance. The other day one lady came and then father died and all these things. That in Mint they want to dispose the whole property. She said 1.2 crores. That's what the final settlement. I said then it's okay. And then the brothers were telling 10 lakhs for the mother and 10 lakhs for her, Kausalya. And 1 crore, both the brothers were split 50 lakhs, 50 lakhs. I said, why the hell you should give 50 lakhs? All the 4 of you are equal. You should claim 30 for your mom, 30 for you and all these things. He said, no doctor, I think I requested for another 5 lakhs. Mother told and all these things. Said, I don't know whether it is in the blood. I mean, the fighting spirit is not there because even they do not know that they have the power to inherit property and their land and all these things. After 1979, every child will have a equal property and all these things. She may not know, even she has got an MA in a political science, but I don't know why she didn't have this sort of this thing. And then the power and always men take this thing. We've been talking about empowering women, and finally they got 33% reservations in all municipal and panchayat unions and all. We're all happy, at least finally the women, the bridges, at least somewhere near there, some bridge, somebody is trying to bridge the gap and all these things. You know what ultimately happened? You look at all the councillors and all these things, that Mrs. Meenakshi will be the councillor, but Mr. Meenakshi is the one who will be doing all the deals. And they are not just dummies. They'll just go all these ornaments and then they will go to that council meeting, but the contract and all these things, everything is again between usurped by the men and all this. Even if you give the power also, it is misused and all these things. Maternal health, again, maternal mortality. If you look at the statistics like what Ragita was telling us, you can find that there is a cross disparity and all these things. Maternal mortality is more in Southeast Asian countries. Many women do not seek, in spite of availability and accessibility, people do not utilize the services and all these things because they say the priority is not given. The priority is given for children. When children fall sick, they just take them to the nearest primary health centers. But women, they think they take some sukha kashayam or something like that till they really become bad, then only they are taken. Look at every aspect of, and then age. Again, they do not have the power to say no. In human sexuality, you can find that they are not able to say emphatically no. It is again the man who discusses all these things. I mean, we are not talking about the entire. I mean, maybe 10 to 15% of the people in the women have reached to a certain extent the ability to ask for the power. So we always talk about all the policies and all these things. The policies are there. You get any number of books with all this section 21A, 21B, 21.3. But how much is this put into action? So what is it you are going to do about this? Possibly the real meaning of this 2 day seminar, national seminar, is that each inequality and about the sex, gender identity and all these things. So every hospital you find sex. Why? What is it here? In UK, you go and then you say that, you have got a beautiful little daughter will be there, and then everybody is happy about it. Recently I went to this Bulgaria, in Sofia. They are all worried. The population of the entire Bulgaria, the country, is 9 million, has come down to 7 million. They were all worried. The policy is how to improve the population there. Whereas we find that, I think in Chennai itself, we have got the entire Bulgaria population we have got and all these things, right? So it takes for 1 hour to reach from Ramchandra to come to Janaki College. It takes such amount of population we have and all, but they are worried and all these things. So what I am trying to say, we always talk, but then we never put into a policy, into action. Maybe these 2 days of deliberation it should not be just attending a seminar and then going back and then sleeping over it. But what is it how far you take forward is the thing. It's going to be a challenge. It is not easy. But the minute you say Vayamudu or this thing, they will say and all these things at home and all, they may not entertain and all these things. But then things have gone. See, my grandmother just looked at the corner of the eyes and knew he is my husband. For 90 years they lived together. Okay, that's a different story. Because there, the man takes the decision. Chandroda appa enna solra? Avladhaan. They don't even tell his name. They tell about Vijayalakshmi appa solra. Vijay appa solra. Vijay appa na. What about even in hospital? Enna my husband pere? Solle. I mean, they will look at the son or daughter to tell the name. We can't. See, that is how, I will not say it is suppressed and all these things. Everyone somehow digested and accepted. It runs in blood because it has been there for so many generations and all these things. So, this is very unfortunate, but then probably how you evolve policies. Policies are there. Our policies will be always there. We went had a program in Vienna for 5 days we had a program. Then on the final day when the chairman is telling, we had such a similar workshop 1996. But what happened? Why 2001 we have been sitting for 5 years, similar meeting, only thing is that the people are different, actors are different. So again, we always sit and then discuss policies, but then very difficult to. So we need to have a capacity development where we need to be developing. So I think the topics are very rich. I wish I could be sitting there and listening to all of, I think Virubala is talking about debates on feminism, historical account, and then paper presentations, and then about the enigma of the gender, about the panel discussions on transgender activities. A lot of things about for counseling, Rorschach profiling of gender dysphoria. It's very rich, I think. But I think at one particular point of time, I think we need to see what is the best to go ahead with this thing and all these things. That by the time in another 10 to 20 years, by the time you all become the HODs of this department of psychology and all these things in your own field, I think you should be able to implement and all these things. So I'm very happy and congratulate the Department of Psychology in Janaki College for thinking about and organizing a national seminar. I'm too happy and proud to be there and at least put 15-20 minutes to be with all of you and all. Thank you so much. Thanks for the kind invitation. The pleasant deliberations. Thank you.
And sharing his perspectives on the seminar thing. I'm sure his words of wisdom and encouragement would have been definitely inspired for us students. Thank you, sir. We owe our sincere thanks to our Honorable Correspondent, Dr. Lata Rajendran, our Chairman, Mr. Kumar Rajendran, for their unstinted support in successful organization of this event. We wish to record our gratitude to our Principal, Dr. Mani Mekalai, for her guidance and support. We also thank Dr. Lakshmi Balaji, our Vice Principal, Dr. Shanti Lakshmi, Dean Academics, and Dr. Abhita Sabapati, Dean Students. It would not be an exaggeration to say that we are fortunate enough to be backed up by such a dynamic team. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you is the best prayer that anyone could say. Thank you so much.
To begin our first session by Dr. Vidubala, Assistant Professor, Department of Psycho-Oncology, Cancer Institute, Chennai, on the topic Gender and Health.
By Dr. E. Vidubala, Associate Professor, Cancer Institute, Adyar, Chennai. I invite Dr. Ragita Radhakrishnan, Head, Department of Psychology, Dr. MGR Janaki College, to tell us more about our esteemed guest.
We are honored to have with us today Dr. E. Vidubala, Honorary Associate Professor, Department of Psycho-Oncology, Cancer Institute. She is also the Director of Fenivi Research Solutions Private Limited. She has implemented numerous projects for tobacco cessation in different parts of India. She was a major force in initiating the Department of Psycho-Oncology at the Cancer Institute. She has established 192 tobacco cessation centers in India. She works towards making colleges tobacco-free and has conducted more than 1,200 awareness programs. She has produced many MPhil and PhD scholars under her eminent guidance. She was the recipient of Tamil Nadu Young Woman Scientist Award in 2011. She has also received fellowship for Global Leadership Program conducted by Johns Hopkins University, Washington. She has served as the Secretary for the Tobacco Control Scientific Section of the International Union Against Tuberculosis and Lung Diseases, Paris, France. We are privileged to have you here with us today, ma'am. I would like to invite Dr. Vidubala ma'am to deliver her talk on gender and health.
No? Happy to see a very big psychology crowd. But I am always, very much and the gender inequality. And how many men are here? Okay, here and there. Do you feel bad or proud? Proud. Why? What way?
Because my wife is HOD, okay. So I'm proud of that.
Yeah, are you also in psychology field? Telecom field, okay. You can be from inside. And all the time we keep talking about inequality, women are always down and feeling bad. But in psychology we have certain privileges in terms of learning psychology. But wherever we go, the women folks in psychology discipline, very, very minimal. And I haven't seen many people in psychology field, let it be in education psychology or social psychology, community psychology, psychiatry, or clinical psychology, wherever you take it. Very, very minimal psychology discipline people are making a contribution. And mostly there is sociology people or social work people, they are really making a huge difference. And their curriculum and their syllabus and everything is very beautiful and up to date. And I don't know, whether sometimes I feel we are outdated in terms of learning psychology, where we are, what are all the current trends, and is really psychology contributing to our own life or others' life? Is it making any difference? Are we able to apply the theories, whatever we are studying in our routine life or in the life of others? It's a big question. Like we don't have in India much data. At the same time, like we don't try also. So I wish this women crowd, the young budding psychologists, they really make a difference in future, and in terms of growing the field of psychology. All the best to every one of you. So here today we are going to talk about gender and health, and health is a major area, and health is predominantly the part of the field of women, and starting from kitchen. Like go there, that's a primary thing. Like we belong to kitchen belongs to us. Whoever has the kitchen has the highest power in the home, and if men is holding the kitchen, then women are out, and if the mother-in-law is holding the kitchen, then she is powerful in that house, and the kitchen is the main source. But gradually we are abandoning the kitchen, then the health issues are coming in. So I am basically a public health person. And so whatever I'm going to talk to you about today is mostly from the preventive part of public health. And always we have been asking, are we in any way lower than men? And all the time, we are equal. And way back in 1900s in New York, when many people, the same women liberation, the talk has come in Western countries. And in New York, there was a huge rally conducted by women that saying that we are also equal to men. So what they did, everybody hold a cigarette in their hand, and they were raising the hands with the cigarettes, and they are walking on the New York streets, and they are saying we are equal to men, we are no way lower than you. So most of the time we misinterpret what is the equality. By drinking alcohol, by smoking, by riding what is that, lot of bikes are there, I don't know the names, lot of newer bikes have come. So by showing our, doing something different, whatever men do. So there is that equality is misinterpreted most of the time because of our cultural and social norms. Whatever is approved and accepted so far by the culture for women, if you don't do that, if you violate that, then it is considered as, yes, I am equivalent, which is not correct. Most of the time we interpret. But of course, there is a huge difference between men and women, and we are biologically different, and we will never be able to claim that men is equal to women and women are equivalent to men, and nobody can claim like that. Like we have each gender has its own uniqueness and has its disparities, and we need to appreciate, acknowledge, and accept, then go ahead. So rather than fighting against the biological basis. So that is when we call it as sex, that is the biological sex. But when we teach appropriate behaviors for male and females, that is gender norms. In every society it differs. In India there is a different gender norm. In US there is a different gender. In Europe there is a different gender norm. And how they should interact with others of the same or opposite sex within households, communities, and workplaces becomes gender relations. Like how, it is all taught to us. It is not inborn. How we have to behave. And the functions or responsibilities they should assume in society, that is the gender roles. Men has to go to work, women has to sit at home. And men can go do these things, men are, they are capable of doing certain things and women cannot do. And child rearing, women are supposed to do, and men doesn't have any role there. So many gender roles, that is also changing across the culture, across the region. Next slide. So how based on the gender, the determinants of health, basically income, education, age, ethnicity, sexual orientation, place of residence. But when the gender intersect between that, there is an inequality exists. Starting from over a period of time in the villages and all, the women were not sent for education. The minute they were not sent for education, there is an inequality. And when there is no education, now the recent trends are coming. Particularly when I'm working in cancer control more, my past 18 years of my field level experiences with cancer control. Now the cancer, cervical cancer is coming down on its own without any specific intervention targeting cervical cancer. There is no intervention all over the country, given, administered, particularly to bring down cervical cancer. Now only many things are starting. The vaccinations and screening, all those things are starting now. But earlier it was not there. But only by women education, that is coming down. Hygiene, better hygienic practices and other things. But when you don't, if you look at the cervical cancer pattern, the cervical cancer is number 2 among women. In rural, it is number 1 among women. Why it should be like that? Why women in urban, rural areas should have more cancers, more cervical cancers? Here the inequality comes. The poor access and no education, simple no education contributes to a greater extent. I'm giving more cancer as an example because that is where I work, so I'm able to refer more. But it is same for many other health issues also. Next slide. So the previous one. So the gender equality, please remember, equality should exist, but it does not mean whatever men do, if I do, that is equality. That concept has to go out of our mind. Next slide. So for me, the gender inequality starts from here. Why men are not wearing jewels? Why women are wearing so much jewels? For me, the first thing, the gender inequality starts from here. During wedding, why men has to be decorated in a separate way, and why women has to be, projected like this. And in rural now by education, the urban women are changing, but still in the rural areas you will find like their beauty will go off, will disappear in their jewels. But you won't know, due to poor financial management, the incidence of suicides are going up in Tamil Nadu. Overall in India, and Tamil Nadu is pioneering now. Every day you watch the TV, there will be 1 or 2 suicides reported. And I know there are many suicides which are not reported. And main thing will be, there are 4 reasons. The main reason is the financial mismanagement. And the reasons for that financial mismanagement is, one is health. People don't have any saving when they have health problems. Government is also responsible for that in a way. And then second, education. Now the education is bought, not taught. So that is another big problem. So people are in the rural areas, people are selling acres and acres of land, and then they invest that money in some colleges, and at the end of the day they get one certificate, not the knowledge or wisdom. So they are unemployable. Employability of the graduates is a major problem. I have been hearing many companies have been saying that we have problems, we are not getting the right candidate. But in the certificate it says that this person is the right candidate for this job, but they can't employ them because the right knowledge is not there with them, right training is not there with them. Only the certificate says that they are qualified, and for that they have invested a huge amount. So majority of the rural based thing, they have invested a huge amount, borrowing money from the banks for different sources, or selling the houses, selling the lands. They spend. So health, education, then the wedding, the marriage. People have been spending a huge amount borrowing money, and they have to pay the interest. The parents have completed, they're finished, their life is over by, if they have 1 daughter or 2 daughters, their life is over. The rest of the life they cannot live their life, they have to be all the time paying the loans and So the suicide rate is going up and up every day due to poor financial management, without knowing what is life, and the proper teaching. And that's a major area. This is another very big area, particularly in rural areas. Now the things are changing in this is also a community based issue. In many areas it is changing, but still this is a major problem in many of the rural areas of India. Not only in Tamil Nadu, in many regions this is a major problem. So here we have to think in this perspective. Inequality means here is the inequality. Not by smoking, not by drinking. Next slide. You could see the dowry hierarchy. Like, if you have this certificate, this is your rate. If you have this certificate, this is your rate. So you can buy engineers, doctors and IT professionals, anybody you can buy, but provided you have the money for that. So but of course now the woman has to also be educated. Nobody marry a woman who have only +2 as their qualification. They have to also invest a huge amount on education. Then apart from that, they have to buy a person for their life, and by so much money we need to invest. I always appreciate love marriage, and everything has its own advantages and disadvantages. But I am from Tirunelveli. Like I am from a village in Tirunelveli. The boys are also very smart now. They love. All of them love. That's a natural thing. Like it has to come. Otherwise, there is some problem in your biological this thing, and there is no hormone secreting at the right age. There should be a attraction for the male towards the females, the females towards the male. So it's a natural thing. So they all do that. Then when the time comes, they calculate, they all go behind the mothers, the sisters, and they say that they don't agree, and they have to negotiate between another family for another girl, how much will you give? And so they talk about the rates, how much is your rate, and if you ask them, I don't need any money or dowry, then they always suspect that boy, and they will justify saying that, oh, if I don't ask, people want respect. So that's the reason that I'm asking. So this is going as a very big problem. Earlier, the dowry has been settled in one go. Like they give jewels, they conduct the wedding, they give money, and then they whatever the car, whatever the thing they give, and the first child they can come back to the mother's house, and the first child delivery, everything has been taken care, and from the second child they are okay, on your own, be free. But now the boys are saying we don't want one-time settlement. We wanted working women so that we can get dowry in an installment basis. Every month we need dowry. So this is how their calculation is. One time no use. So I wanted a working woman. There is a very big problem. Then when the men strongly depending on the women for the income, and when there is a biologically the reproductive system, it is the woman has to give birth to a baby. So if they wanted to take a break, which becomes impossible. Again, I'm coming to cancer. The reasons for breast cancer is, if you don't give birth to your first child before 30, the chances of getting breast cancer is higher. If you don't get married, then the chances of getting breast cancer is higher. Even if you get married and you don't have your child, like you're delaying or to some reasons, the infertility, you don't get, then the chances of cancer is higher, breast cancer particularly. Okay, you get married, you get your child, but you are a working woman, you don't have time to feed your child. You have fed for 2 months, 3 months, 5 months. Then the chances of getting breast cancer for a woman is higher. And the early menarche, women are attaining puberty in a very, very early age. What age? Below? Earlier, maybe in my period or and my friends and all, what age is the mean age? 13, 14, in the 10th standard only many girls will disappear in my school and all. And everybody knows what is the reason they disappeared for 10, 15 days. But now, we are hearing from the different schools and like the second standard, 7-year-old child is attaining puberty. So, that is a major gender-based issue. And then that is why is that reason that the women go to work. They don't have the time to spend, make food or, give hygienic food and other thing, healthy food and other thing. Whatever you get the processed, packed, you buy that. Starting from biscuits are processed food. Starting from biscuit is a junk food. They take the biscuit, you go to any school, open their snack box or open their lunch box. What is provided by their parents are the slow poison. So, due to food, changing lifestyle, and due to physical inactivity, there is no space to run around even in the school or at your home. And they sit in the sofa most of the time, eating their junks and watching TV or playing computers or whatever it may be. So the physical inactivity and the food, adding together, the puberty, they attain puberty below 10 years, 11 years and all. So if a girl child attains puberty below 12 years, the chances of getting breast cancer is higher. The risk is higher. So imagine, where and all, we have to play a role, where and all we have to be concentrating now as a woman. Next slide. So dowry death hasn't come down. You could see the same scenario over a period of time. Next slide. Next slide. So here, earlier, most of the time, the communicable diseases were the major problem in India. But over a period of time, the non-communicable diseases were the diseases of West. They were not in India. Cancer, heart attack, diabetes, they were not very prevalent in India. But they were all imported from West. And in the year 2004, first time the WHO released a report saying that the non-communicable diseases have overtaken communicable diseases. It only overtook. It didn't. Communicable diseases still existed. Chikungunya exists, malaria exists, dengue exists, everything exists. We didn't overcome that. But Western, at least they were able to eradicate that. But they have a huge burden of non-communicable diseases. But now we are facing the dual burden. We haven't eradicated communicable diseases. At the same time, we are also, due to changing lifestyle, experiencing the burden of non-communicable diseases. Next slide. So if you look at in the year 2008 alone, 52 lakh people have died due to non-communicable disease alone. Let us say what is the population of Chennai. According to 2011 census, it is about 48 lakh. But actual numbers might be more. And let us say at least 50 lakhs or, but if Chennai is removed from the India map every year, one city like Chennai is removed. Imagine the amount of impact the non-communicable diseases creating to our country. Next slide. So how? We keep talking about non-communicable diseases. How is it happening? Heart disease is number 1. Lung disease is number 2. Cancer is number 3. Why I have highlighted there is no significance? Because I am working in that area. And the second thing is, compared to all other diseases, cancer has a special dignity in the society. People are scared of cancer, not of heart attack. People say heart attack is a rich man disease, cancer is a poor man disease. And if I die, I should die of heart attack. This is the dream of many people. Because they think it's an easy death. They never realize that before the heart attack death, they have to suffer for a long time with blood pressure and hypertension and other things. Then only final attack comes. Nobody realizes that. And now the healthcare facilities and the technology has improved. Even they can't die of that. They will, people will take and they will survive. And the quality of life, you can't imagine. And then the diabetes and road traffic accidents. If you look at, on an average, the lifetime of an Indian is 67 years. If somebody is dying due to cancer at the age of 50, then 17 years they are losing. Similarly, somebody is dying due to lung disease or heart attack or cancer. Then at the age of 45, their lifetime is 22 years they are losing. Then 22 years. If you calculate the number of years people lost due to non-communicable diseases, which is about 9.2 million years annually. So huge productive years we have been losing because of this health issue. Next slide. So how is it happening? For all the diseases, almost the lifestyle is the culprit. Lifestyle starting from tobacco, unhealthy diet, physical inactivity and the alcohol. If you are able to eliminate these 4 things, 60-70% of the diseases can be removed from our country. Next slide. So health life expectancy, of course men and women differ. Why could you think of why women are living longer than men? Yeah, they use tobacco, they use alcohol, the exposure to risky factors are higher among men compared to women. But women are also now facing a different issue. Earlier they didn't have any equipments at home to wash the cloth, to make the masala. Now everything there is machines. So that is also reducing their lifetime. So they have to live to do all these things for long. But now they all do that in few seconds, so they don't need to live long. They can die, they can finish everything and they can, quickly they can die, no issues. Next slide. So if you take alcohol, people have been reporting now the alcohol incidence is increasing among women. but people have been, that has also been declared as a group 1 carcinogen. You will definitely get the cancer risk is definitely there, which is equivalent to tobacco. You will never be able to underestimate, okay, alcohol is a luxurious thing and I can just like that have as a modern lifestyle. And people always argue that I only take beer, I don't take whiskey, brandy. But usually, if you take a hard liquor, it is 40 to 50% of alcohol. But when it comes to beer, it is 6 to 7, 8%. But the person who consumes hard liquor, if he takes the hard liquor 1 peg, the same person will take beer in a mug. So there is no difference. The amount of consumption, the alcohol goes inside their body. So definitely it has now, the WHO has clearly declared there is no difference between mild, moderate, and some people have been, I have been hearing doctors are saying that a moderate amount of alcohol is good for heart. Have you ever heard? Yes? Still you are hearing? I really wanted to see the doctor. Next slide. The previous one. So, and people keep asking, in the West people are drinking alcohol, nothing has happened to them. Who is asking that? Who have never crossed the Tamil Nadu border. And they have never seen that how people are suffering. Let it be African or Caucasian or American, whoever it is, if alcohol goes inside, it will do its job. And they are not going to be spared. So definitely it has its own impact. And the alcohol-related breast cancers in Australia is 45%. After removing adjusting all the other factors, they found 45%. In US now, alcohol-related breast cancer has been reported recently 2 months back as 55%. So we are happy in a way that how many of you drink here? Nobody will raise your hand. Teachers don't see back. Yeah. So, fortunately, the incidence of, the prevalence of alcohol consumption is less among women, but now it is changing over a period of time. But please remember, it's only one life we are living, and it is not a luxurious life by drinking, and it is not the way of enjoying our life. People have been saying, without drinking, what is life? I want to enjoy. Okay, you are enjoying. The money you get to buy that alcohol, is it enjoyable? No, I feel bad spending so much money. Okay, you are drinking that, how tasty it is. Oh, it's bitter, horrible. We can't drink just like that. But after drinking, what happens? Oh, is it very comfortable, enjoyable? No, not exactly. So if you take the step by step the drinking process, none of the process is enjoyable. The same, the amount of endorphin and the, pleasure chemicals are being secreted by doing intensive exercise, by playing games, and many other areas like you get the same pleasure, same high. So we need to really think, are we really living our life? Is it we need to redefine the enjoyment. Is it the real enjoyment? So it's very, very important that, I'm happy that many women are not drinking, but I wish that the women don't start, we keep up, whatever the name, let it be in the name of culture, let it be, whatever the name, let us keep away ourselves from alcohol. Next slide. But people keep telling, the moderate amount of alcohol is good for heart. But people are so much worried about the heart because only heart can love. But there is another organ, liver, and which will go off. And people don't bother about liver because that is not that is not symbolized for love, no. So that is not required for us. But you need to live first, then only you can love. That's second. But here, the American Heart Association is the first one who reported that, the moderate amount of alcohol. There's 1 or 2 papers came, 1 or 2 articles came, but they are not the final. But now more and more reports are coming. This is no more an fact. And American Heart Association clearly said now, declared, please don't quote us. You go to American Heart Association website, they'll say, don't quote us. We are not encouraging you to drink alcohol to protect your heart. So it's a wrong thing. And now no more they are propagating, and they advise not to drink. And if you are a very severe addict, cut down. And many other alcohol control strategies the American Heart Association is teaching. But there are 3 components they identified. One is the antioxidant, second one high density lipoprotein, and anti-clotting agent. Antioxidant, it is not only in alcohol, it is there in every other vegetables and fruits and many other. And even if you do your exercise regularly and take good fiber, your antioxidants and high density lipoprotein will improve. And this lipoprotein, there are 3 types of lipoproteins. So the lipoprotein which is good lipoprotein doesn't increase by drinking alcohol. That is always bad. And I don't know how it has been interpreted. And these are all the three components that has been reported. The anti-clotting agent means, see, two boys drink alcohol, go on a road and meet with an accident. Then one has consumed alcohol, the other without alcohol. And the person who have consumed alcohol will die on the road before he is taken to the hospital. The other person can be saved even if it is the same type of injury, same type of blood loss. Because here, the blood won't clot if somebody has consumed alcohol. Even for them to stitch, the doctors will be putting stitch, but it will, like a spring, the blood will go. And by the time the ambulance comes, it is 20 minutes, the blood will go off and he will die on the road. So due to road traffic accidents, the alcohol is one of the major factor for road traffic accidents in India. So no more we can justify. And next slide. So I want to ask you, these people are standing in the queue for antioxidants and high density lipoprotein and anti-clotting agent. They are addicted, that's it. And the younger generation thinks that, okay, that's a way of living and it's an enjoyment. So definitely people who are drinking today are not drinking for HDL or antioxidant. Next slide. So this is a major issue. We can escape saying that being a woman, I don't drink alcohol and I don't smoke, so I am escaped from many health risks. But nobody can say that I am a woman or I am this age, I don't eat. All the 100% from the day 1 to the day of dying, something will go on into your mouth, even if you like or you don't like. Okay, so everybody, 100% of us eat. So here, more than alcohol, more than tobacco, now the food is becoming a major health concern now for us. And women are responsible in a very, very big way. So major 4 factors: fast food, fatty food, preserved food, processed food. They are mainly responsible for all the non-communicable diseases. Next slide. So anything in color, we like. It should be in color. Even if you fry a chicken, it has to have orange or red color. Even I am a vegetarian, I don't eat non-veg. And there is a cauliflower dipped in the color and fried. And earlier it was only in the roadside shops. But now it is in the kitchen. This colorants are in the kitchen. So every food product has colorant, which is a major culprit now for health. Major culprit. It is all man-made, which is not naturally coming colorants. And then the flavors, starting from, you will say strawberry flavor ice cream and vanilla flavor ice cream. But we all think that the vanilla, it is the extract is taken from the vanilla beans and it has been added here. Never. It is all to make 1 kg of vanilla extract from vanilla beans, you have to spend around 5 lakh rupees. But to make in the laboratory, just by adding 3-4 chemicals, you get 1 kg just for 500 rupees. Which one the industry prefer? So are they really concerned about your health? So in everything you eat, it is all, the poison is added inside. And then the preservatives. We all wanted, let us say, okay, you make a fresh juice, keep it for 24 hours. Open that and see how it will be. You won't see, it won't be in the same flavor and other thing. How come this is there for about a year later in the same crispiness and the same everything without even losing its flavor? How can that be in the same way? And even the original flavors can't be retained. There is a huge challenge. Let us say mint. You take the mint leaf, which is in green color, crush that, dark green. When you take the juice and keep it for some time, and it will become, the color changes. So you will not be able to retain the same color and the same taste from the natural agents. So you have to, it will be written in all the packets, nature identical chemicals, NI chemicals. Because those laboratory people, the industry do not want to say artificial chemicals, artificial sweetness, artificial colorants. They say natural identical. So natural identical means what goes in our mind. We cheat our mind, okay, this is natural identical, it is natural. So this is how people are, interpreting and thinking that it is a natural one. And the ingredients, majority of the food, whatever is made today, starting from your pizza to burger, all maida based. How many of you eat pizza? Burger, samosa, bhaji. You can stop all these and better eat, better drink alcohol. Because alcohol is less harmful compared to these products, these food. One is, it doesn't have any nutrients. Second, the junk is being, sent inside your body, which is fit for nothing, which is going to have a heavy impact in every organ. One, you are losing out your nutrients. Without nutrients, you are prone to all the diseases. They say the Aedes mosquito, they are only women mosquitoes. There is also gender inequality process. Women mosquito bite you and all those things. But every person who is bitten by the mosquito gets dengue? No. Immune protects you. All of us have cells. Everyone who has cells has a risk of getting cancer. Because cancer is a abnormality, like a mutation happening in the cell, and it's an abnormal proliferation. It can happen to any cell for all of us. All of us have cells. But not all of us are getting cancer. Why? We are protected by environment. We have our natural protecting mechanism. We have our check on our own. But when the minute we lose that, you take a pizza doesn't have any nutrients. The day, for that particular day, you don't have any nutrients for your body. You go to a samosa or pizza or burger or whatever it may be, sandwiches, whatever it may be. You don't get the enough nutrients for that day, gone. So every day you think, every day this is happening, then how healthy we will be. Next slide. So people always ask us, this is about taste. If that is there, then only tasty. But this is like, a minute in the lip, lifelong in the hip. Which one do you want? You wanted the taste in the lip or the muscles in the hip? And many people say that it is only my stomach. There is nothing like stomach will have this much big stomach and other thing. It has little organs inside, and this is only fat depositor. It is not a stomach. It is not an extra organ we are growing outside our stomach. Next slide. So, to be, very clear that the trans fats which are there in all the junk food, which is going to kill us slowly. Next slide. And everything, you take everything, what is trans fat, which is an artificial fat, which is in 1900s made by the people, man, and made in the laboratory, which doesn't have any value to our body. Next slide. So effects of trans fat starts from Alzheimer's disease, impaired memory and learning, cancer, breast cancer chances increased to 75%, diabetes, obesity, liver dysfunction, infertility in women. If you per day, if you take 2% of trans fat, the risk of infertility is 73 times more, depression 48 times more, behavior irritability and aggression. Earlier, one of the main indicator for getting a child is marriage. So, are you married? Okay. People will start asking, are you conceived and how many months before you... So, the only indication is you have to get married to get a child. But now that is not the indication. If you get married, you will not get your child. You have to go to a gynecologist, you have to go to an infertility center, you have to take your own treatment, then only you will get your child. It is not that your husband can give you a child. The trend has changed. So imagine where, how, all this has happened in these 3 decades. 3 decades before, if a woman gets married, 9th month or 10th month, she will have a baby. But now, that is not the criteria. Earlier, there are no infertility centers. Now, every corner there is an infertility center. You have to go to them. Just by getting married, you won't get your child. You have to go to an infertility center to get your child. The main culprit is your lifestyle. Next slide. So, the concept of supplements. So, people have been always talking about, okay, I don't get enough nutrients, so why can't I give my child, or why can't I take supplements to compensate the nutritional deficiency. So, is it correct? So, of course, the Horlicks, what is that? Some cricketer will say, boost is the secret of my energy. So every cricket president, what is his name? Captains will change. Even for Pepsi also, the captainship for ambassador will change, and for Boost also, they are transferring from Kapil Dev's period. And if Boost is the secret of his energy, he would have given Boost to all his 11 team members, and all of them would have hit 100, no? So why he didn't do that? So So it's, by looking at the advertisements, we are very much cheated, and we were made to believe that this is how, we need to live. This is how I can compensate. Every ad, I wish one of the psychology students take this as your thesis and just record for 48 hours all top 10 major TV channels and record and find out, identify, enlist the number of advertisements which are coming health-based or whatever it may be, list and sort it out and go to the fact, cross-check, verify how many of the advertisements are factual. One of you can do a study. I always see the students, psychology students do a study in the colleges and the universities, self-esteem, anxiety. Self-esteem, anxiety, academic achievement, self-esteem. I don't know, I have never seen any of the children in the schools who have achieved academically or removed their anxiety or self-esteem has improved. Till today they have gone worse. Where are those results helping now? It should help. If so many students are taking self-esteem, academic achievement, anxiety as your variable, it would have helped by this time. The psychologists would have made a big revolution in the education psychology field. That is a major area today. They have been making it like a politics. They are politicizing education now. One girl died, they politicized. That is a major area for the psychologist. Many people are dying. Why? It's an area of psychologist. We are all keeping quiet, sleeping. That's the reason this is happening. Every psychological issues, mental health issues has been politicized now. Let it be farmers, let it be students, let it be family men, anybody who commits suicide, it's a psychological issue, first of all. We don't know how much stress and how much anxiety, how much depression he would have undergone before he made the decision. And it has been ignored. No, none of us took care. So it is I wish whatever study you do, it should have the public health relevance. It should be useful to the community immediately. We shouldn't be doing some research for the sake of doing. We have to do, if we do something, tomorrow you should give a solution to our society. Or tomorrow you should add a value to our policy makers. And many cases are, many policies are going to the court. The judge has asked, where is the evidence? Give me some evidences. Because based on that only he gives the judgment. But there are no evidences. Who will create the evidences? The academicians, the researchers. 1,000 theses are created from every colleges in different disciplines. Where are the results? Where is it lying down? How many of the results are being used for a policy level change? Nowhere. We are nowhere in that sector. So we need to really make our impact. For example, this is one topic I am suggesting. I wish one of your faculty make sure that one of MGR Janaki College makes this, and or as a group study itself, you will really see a difference. Many wearing coat, are they real doctors? Prepare a checklist. Are they real doctors who are recommending this supplement? Are they real nutritionists? And does it really, I saw advertisement sometime back. நொரை இருந்தாதான் கரை போகுங்கிறது குழந்தைக்கு கூட தெரியும். There is no connection between நொரை and கரை. நொரை is a chemical. Even without நொரை, the கரை can go. But we were made to believe, the child also knows. Child may be knowing, but adults who can't be analyze and evaluate, is it a fact? We all go, and majority of the advertisements, the consumer behavior has been influenced by the marketing industry, the food industry, through the children. Let it be insurance company, let it be bank company, let it be a jewelry, anything, there will be a child influencing the behavior. So they have learned, and you have to do the study. You have to do these behaviors you need to really study being a psychologist. So here I wanted to ask you, by looking at this, comparing these two pictures, what is the difference between these two chickens? This is the country chicken, that's a broiler chicken. Okay, fine. Then anything else? So they are little height is more and they are little shorter. Okay, fine. Then? Huh? This is costly and that is cheaper. Okay, fine. They are grown artificial, they are natural. Okay. Then they have more flesh, they have less flesh. Okay. They are soft and they are not soft. Okay, fine. Then anything else? Huh? Very similar. All of them are looking as same. And here you see a different colors, different shapes, different height, but they are all same, grown the same way. Anything else? They are produced in a very short period of time and they live longer. If you chase both of them, which one you can catch immediately? The other one. Okay, who has lesser lifetime expectancy? Broiler, white one. And who has better immune system? In all the way for living, for the standard and the quality of living, they are better. But by feeding supplements, by feeding artificial foods, we are all growing children of broiler chicken. And do we really grow our children to send to some curry shop? No. We want them to live. And why do we need to feed our children like a broiler chicken? They should find their food, they should pick their food, they should eat. Whatever is necessary to our body it will take, the rest will go out. So it's a natural system. And why should you feed artificial food and supplements? What is the purpose? That is another big reason why children are attaining puberty earlier too. And the obesity, that's another big problem. Now in US, every third you will find this much size person. Now in the domestic flights, they are rearranging the flight chairs, seats, because everyone is obese and it's horrible to sit in the American flights, domestic flights. It's a nightmare for us. If it is for 3 hours even, to fly within US itself, if you get somebody this much, they are least bothered also. They'll come and sit and they're least bothered who's sitting by the side of you. Are they suffering? And you have to be, you should skew yourself and you have to sit. You have to adjust. Now they are doing something for them. And that is all because of the lifestyle. Whatever is becoming in fame, then all those things will come to developing countries. Next slide. So this is another major area. How many of you drink carbonated drinks? Very few? Very few? Very happy to see. After Jallikattu, you all stop? No. The people who drink carbonated drinks, I would advise again, drink alcohol. Don't drink carbonated drinks. Because that is less harmful than this. This doesn't have anything. And I just say for you to think, but I am not advising you to take alcohol. Please remember, don't go out and, in the break time, don't go and ask your principal or vice president, why can't you have alcohol in our canteen rather than carbonated drinks, because that is better than this. Don't go and quote me and say, but I can give you more evidences why these are equally bad. Next slide. So usually, the sugar, 325 ml tin will have 15 teaspoons of sugar. Though sugar is also artificial, it is not made from sugar cane or palm tree and other thing. If we are mistaken, please remember they are not the natural sugars. Artificial sweetener. Caffeine to increase the flavor. Carbon dioxide, that is for the fizz effect. What is carbon dioxide? What do we do with that? Exhale, which is not needed to our body. But what do we do in the name of aerated drinks? Forcefully we send the carbon dioxide inside our stomach. But our cells and our organs are very intelligent. It realizes this is something not required to my body. So forcefully it pushes that out with the burp sound. So what do we think? Oh, my biryani has digested. So I have to, if I'm eating biryani, this is like brothers and sisters. Like there is one movie, Ghajini. Ghajini, there are twin villains will be there, no? They are twin villains. So, I don't know, somehow both the villains were made as, twins. Like you go to a theatre, there, popcorn or whatever, samosas, all those things, you get your, as a big size, bucket size. So many names they have kept because they all wanted you to be like Americans, this size. And the preservatives, sodium benzoate and sulfur dioxide is usually added, which is chemical. And for the tingling feeling, people always, I have been hearing people say, I don't drink Pepsi, Coca-Cola. Then what do you drink? I drink only Maaza, 7-Up, Sprite, because that is from lemon. Who said it is from lemon? It is not the lemon juice. Its color is different. It is all same chemical, same acids is being added. It is not coming from... Anybody who drink anybody who eats orange, you eat the orange, take your hand and see your fingers, or show your tongue in front of the mirror and see what is the color of the tongue or the hand. Will it change? No. But why by drinking Mirinda, the color, have you ever seen the color? You touch the tang or whatever the powder, then you will see how much color is being added. So it is all artificial. Please remember, don't cheat yourself. We are all intelligent. We should use our intelligence to live our life first. Then only our education. If a person who has studied 15 years of regular education cannot differentiate what is needed to their body, then there is no use of that intelligence. There is no use of that education at all. The 15 years of education is not going to be helpful for you even, then there is no point in going to a college or school. And coloring for the appealing and pH value, whatever is more than, less than 7 is acidic, this is less than 3. So it is definitely you are drinking an acid, you are not drinking a cool drinks. It's a full drinks. Next slide. So it's a 4-MEI, there is a chemical. In US they have tested they have banned this, they have given regulations for adding 4-MEI. But even after the regulations they tested, they found in all the starting from your Diet Cola to Diet Pepsi, they found the 4-MEI level is very, very high. So imagine in our country, there is no regulation. There is nobody to test and give the report to what is the level of 4-MEI, what is the level of caramel, we don't have anybody to do that. We don't do that on a regular basis also. Imagine what will be the condition in our country. Next slide. So then everybody will ask, then what do we do? If I don't eat that, then what will I eat for snacks? What will I eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner? That's a big question comes in our mind. What do we need? It's very, very simple. Starting from 10 to 35% of protein, it may vary from person to person based on your physical activity and gender. It will vary, and 20% fat. Now they are saying 30, 40. 40% only carbohydrate, 30% fat, 30% other protein you need to take. And this is the macronutrients they call, because we need this as in a big quantity. Micronutrients, minerals, vitamins, you get it from fruits and vegetables. WHO recommends 3 to 5 bowls of vegetables and fruits per day. When did you take your fruits and vegetables 3 to 5 bowls last? When was the last time you took? Huh? We don't remember. Whether we have taken it or not also, we don't know. Every day you go to any function, any meeting, any conference, this much rice, sambar. Then this much rice, karakulambu. Then this much rice, rasam. Then this much rice, thair. Then is there anything like banana, sweet, then ice cream? So the entire 99% of your input goes inside is carbohydrate. You're not taking anything else along with some chemicals. So it's simple, they are. And to save the time, what vegetables and fruits you need to take? Like quantity means 3 to 5 bowls means in your own hand you can measure. For the children in their own hand, for the adult in their own hand. Okay, one bowl means, okay, one guava you take. And it is not necessary all the time you need to take, apple. One apple keeps the doctor away. And I don't know, forget about all those things. What is coming in your own land nearby, that is what is necessary for you for that particular season. So simple, you need all the colors in your fruits and vegetables. And then whatever is in a low cost available in your own area, and in that particular season, that is what you needed for your body in that particular season. Very simple. You don't need to go into do a big research for this. And of course fiber. If you don't take fiber, your colorectal cancer #1 reason by not consuming fiber. When you don't take whole grains and fruits and vegetables, automatically fiber intake will be less. And automatically you get all the toxins and other thing will be stored in your colon and rectum and other thing. And that's a main reason for colorectal cancer is lack of fiber intake. Next slide. So as I told you, more and more rice is our food today. So we need to rethink really. Next slide. Next slide. So obesity, it is not 1 or 2 cancers. Several cancers. We won't imagine, almost many, every parts of our body gets cancer because of obesity, because of malnutrition. Next slide. So risk for breast cancer, As I told you, obesity, early menarche, nulliparity, no children. So if you closely look at it, even the breast cancer is due to lifestyle. If we change our lifestyle, we can even prevent breast cancer. Next slide. Next slide. So we are so ignorant that we are preyed by a very big lifestyle monster, and we are happily thinking that we are fine, we have improved in our culture, we are par with the European standards and the UK standards and other thing, but we are ignorant to what extent. Next slide. So this is the cake. Every party, every function you go, this is what is served. Can you tell me what is the ingredient of this? Maida. Then above that, sugar. Is it original? No. Cream. Cream is made of? So is it a original cream? No, it's artificial. Then what is added? Colorants. Then egg. Egg also we don't know whether it is broiler artificial egg or natural egg. That also we don't know. Okay. So can you tell me what is the ingredient which is going to give you any amount of any energy or nutrients to your body? Is this cake going to provide any nutrients or energy to your body? Is it a junk or is it a food? It's a junk. But what is happening, even during the first year birthday, the child is fed by a mother in a very careful way, what to give, what not to give. So many discussions, so many thoughts and so many consultations with the pediatrician, nutrition while feeding. But the same mother, because I don't know whether they have money or what reason I don't know, or for the pride, they make this cake and the child is well dressed. We don't know the mood of the child or what state, whether they are sick or not. The first birthday has to be celebrated for the sake of the relatives, and they were brought. And I have gone to one of my relatives' birthday for a child, and they well dressed, and the child is in a very bad mood, and they came and they all went to the stage, and this side video, that side photo, everywhere, and we were waiting, we were watching that, and then the cake was brought and they cut it, and because the camera, the video, everything is there, they cut it first. The mother first took the cake and served the child, and the child was pushing like this. Then here and there some artificial cream went up. Then the mother has done her job, no? So then the cameraman says, now the father, ask the father to give. Then the father takes the cake and feed the child, and the child again pushed the head back. Then again the father's side parents are there, mother side parents are there. Then they should do their job, no? So they were coming, and now party, the first Amma party, come and do. Then the cameraman focused. In between this time, what the mother is doing, whatever has gone this side and that side, she is pushing that to the child's mouth. Imagine the education. She is a well-to-do, very educated woman, wealthy woman, and imagine the intelligence she has, the wisdom and knowledge she has. Will any mother try to kill their child by giving slow poison? Will any mother dare to do that? But what are we doing? What women are doing today? What are we doing today to our children? Tomorrow you are all going to become mothers. Whatever you do, your children will do. Today, this generation is the first generation who is going to see their children's death in front of their eyes. They are going to see their children dying in front of their eyes. This has been reported by American Heart Association. America is not so far. Whatever they eat, we are also eating. So we are very close now to America. Geographically, they may be far away, but not cultural or lifestyle wise. We are very close to them. So the same thing, whatever American Heart Association said, is applicable to India also. It started happening. When I was at the Cancer Institute, I have been seeing 70 or 80-year-old women crying that why my daughter she has 2 young small children, and why this disease has come to her, why can't it come to me? I have finished my life, why can't it come to me? But unfortunately, most of the time the woman dies due to cancer. The old lady takes the responsibility of again, rearing those 2 children, because mostly women's parents are given the responsibility when anything happens to the women. Not always the boy will get married immediately, second marriage. But women, they can't do anything, the children go to their women's mother. I have been seeing lot of old ladies have been taking care of the children again, starting from their life. How they are the burden to themselves. They have health conditions, they are old, the energy level, everything is a problem. Imagine again these children are given to them. Imagine what life they will have. So it's a major issue. We have started seeing that. So unless you change as a woman, you cannot change the society. Next slide. So stress, we all say this is not an easy joke. This is again a big, very big problem. It is going to kill your immune system. Next slide. So it is going to weaken and kill your immune system. So if you are not going to, whatever the stress may be, if you are not aware of, if you are not going to learn how to cope up or tackle, then that itself can kill us. Despite all the lifestyle and other thing, if your immune is fine, you might be saved, you might be lucky enough, but not necessary always. Next slide. So life and work, of course women, you have a bigger burden, and how to balance between. If you put little more stress there, work will break. If you don't put your stress, it will go down. So it's a big stress for women, of course. But of course we can balance ourselves, and we need to learn that coping strategies, handling strategies to be efficient and to live happily. Next slide. Next slide. So time management is another big issue, and please always smile. I have been seeing, in the morning they come to the, even somebody come and wish them, wishing itself, good morning miss, good morning. That how much stress goes when they are wishing their teachers and the professors. And it's a huge amount of stress in the morning at 8 o'clock itself, you will see. And I don't know, you please smile. You don't need to have so much jewels, so much lipstick and so much cosmetic this thing. So your simple smile can give you a lot of beauty. People will with a lot of lipstick and makeup and other thing. One professor always shout at you, yell at you. Will you appreciate and admire that beauty? No? Yes? You'll admire? You also wanted to buy the same lipstick and you wanted to put? No? Not like that, right? But somebody is smiling all the time, approachable. You will love. Right? So please remember, the smile is a very natural thing, which is very essential to protect our health. Next slide. So physical inactivity, don't ever think that going to the gym center is going to save you. You do 1 hour of cleaning at your work. Do your own work by yourself. That itself will help you. And after physical disability, back pain and many other, women have been complaining more than the men now. So it is all lifestyle related. Next slide. So anything you walk or dance, go stand in front of the TV, put the song, and whatever they are dancing, you also dance. Do a family dance, anything. Do something. Don't sit. Don't be a potato, couch potato. Next slide. And outdoor air pollution has added now, as that is also one of the important reasons for cancer and many other lung diseases today. Next slide. So we need to really protect our environment. We are very apathetic about it of late. The carbon monoxide which is released from the vehicles, from the industries, and that has been immediately, when it joins the oxygen, it has been converted into carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide which is there, the plants have to inhale. But we don't have enough forest cover, green cover, to consume all the carbon dioxide we are releasing. So it is very essential, not for caring environment. We need to care the environment for our own selfishness. If you wanted to protect yourself, you need to care them. Earlier people have been, packing the food in the packets, and there came all the diseases. And then they started packing the water in the packets, and people initially laughed, then we have accepted. Now in Delhi they are going to pack the oxygen, and now tomorrow in Chennai we are going to pack the oxygen and walk on the road. And whoever has the money can breathe good oxygen. Whoever don't have the money, they have to suffocate and die. Without food, you can sustain, you can still live for about 15-20 days. And without water, maybe you can survive 2-3 days with some amount of energy. But just to close your doors, be there for 3 minutes. Imagine, can you survive? So what is more essential than food and water? Oxygen. That's a basic food. And everything, your antioxidants, your natural immune system, everything, all oxygen should go inside. Every hemoglobin has an oxygen binding towards that. Otherwise your cell can't survive. Every cell should receive oxygen to survive. So if environmentalists, don't ever think it is I am protecting the environment, I am very generous. No, by protecting the environment, you are selfish, you are going to protect your own health. So please, remember that environment is going to be an essential component in public health. Next slide. So day-to-day health indicator, I am going to close by this. And day-to-day health indicator, what is, cancer will come after 50, 60 years maybe, or heart attack will come at the age of 50, 55. But what is the day-to-day health indicator? Every day morning you can see that, whether you will get cancer or not, you will know today. How? What is the day-to-day health indicator? Any idea? General weakness and tired. Anything else? Any other guess? Sleep. Okay. Excretion. Yes, exactly. The morning, as soon as you get up from your bed, within 5 minutes, if you are able to go to your toilet, and if you are able to pass your motion within 2 minutes without making so much of noise and effort, if you are able to pass just like that, download just like that in the 4G speed, then you are healthy today. Yesterday you have lived your life healthy. Yesterday you have lived your life healthy. And if you are not, then yesterday your lifestyle is bad and you are adding on to your non-communicable diseases later. So every day morning you can assess your health lifestyle for the previous day. So don't think that I am awkward, but this is what is the reality. If you take enough fiber, enough water, enough nutrients, and automatically it will happen. But most of the people are conditioned now. Earlier when the Western toilet came, if the newspaper is there, then only they can pass motion. They are losing all the lives, and then it is, cancer is equivalent to death. We are not able to change that the meaning in the dictionary, in the cancer dictionary. We still say cancer is equivalent to death. Why? So women are very, very apathetic about their own health. When they fall down, when the pain is intolerable, then only they go and tell. I have seen very educated people coming with a big lump in the breast. They say that my exams will get over, my son is going for +2, so I thought I will. But by the time the tumor becomes big, but they tolerate. This is a women nature, what I have seen. Women tend to hide their problems, and I don't know, it's a sacrifice they say. I don't say it's a sacrifice. It's a foolishness. You should take care of yourself first. Then only you can take care of others. You are the pillar of the family. So you need to be strong if you wanted your family to be strong. Next slide. So even psychiatric conditions, there are disparities among gender. Next slide. So this is again a public health issue. People accept in the families when the women are beaten by the men, they accept. It's my husband, he can beat me. He has a right to beat me. And he says, this is my wife, I have the right. That right is no more permitted in the law, under the law. Nobody can beat you. Next slide. So sexual violence again, next slide. I think the time is going off. So prevention is better than cure, they say. But at the Cancer Institute, we know Dr. Shanta, chairman of the Cancer Institute, she always say prevention is the cure. Once you get the disease, gone. Even if it is cured, even if you survive, then the disability and the financial implications, everything, it's killing your life, the rest of the life. So prevention is the cure. Next slide. So take home message, first you be the role model. Don't ever say that, ask them to stop the advertisement. Ask them not to sell pizza and burger. Then I will stop. They won't stop. If they stop, then I will stop means they will never stop. It is your life, your health. So first you should stop. We should not be waiting for the government or the shop to close. Influence your children to adopt a healthy lifestyle. I'm sure 99% of you are going to get married. Even if you are not going to be in the psychology field, all of you will have 100% attendance. And so please, at least next generation, let us revive our culture, our tradition. And it is not for reviving our culture and tradition, it is to revive our health, not for anything else. And choose life, not the diseases. Take responsibility for your own health. And girls, take a oath, you will marry a non-smoker and non-alcoholic.
Girls won't get married only, ma'am.
Huh?
Girls won't get married only.
Yeah, that is fine. That's a blissful thing. If you don't get married, fine. Live your own life. There is no compulsion. But I will say gender means male and female. And the nature has created to live together. Live together. And then there are so many advantages if you get married. Starting from preventing breast cancer. So, get married. I will advise you, get married at the right time, live your life, and don't ever carried away by, okay. But even living together and all those things are, to be together. Men and women makes the life wholesome. It is not that I am bigger, I don't want a man, and men can't say that I can live with a... It's not about that. It is not about ego and, proving yourself who's strong and other things. No. It's always men and women together is beautiful and makes the life completed. So, I don't know, I'm not an advocate. I really wish that I'm unmarried and I would have lived my life and I don't have... Every relationship is a burden, I say. But, every relationship is a burden, every property is a burden, all those things I say. But still, there are advantages in getting married and having a support. And it's a support. And but choose a right person. There lies. That there you have to use your intelligence there. Don't ever go and when you see a boy, don't ever go and say, have you loved anybody before? Don't ever ask those questions. Ask, are you an alcoholic or a smoker? You would have also loved, he would have also loved. Forget about that. Don't ask that. That is immaterial. You are going to live your life together, begin your life. That is going to be, that's unnecessary. But ask these questions. This is going to be necessary. If he is going to die of a heart attack or lung cancer at the age of 40, imagine your life with 1 or 2 kids. So it is very important that you should choose, be brave, be courageous. Earlier people were saying the boys, if they, win the ox, then they will get married. In the Jallikattu, all those things have come because of that. So men are very strong and they tried for that. But now if you say, I will marry a non-smoker and non-alcoholic, then boys have to change because to get married. So you can make a difference by spreading that message across. And also don't ever give dowry, please. You have the right to marry. They also have to marry. They can't also live without women. So it is equally important. Wedding is equally important. Marriage is equally important. So it is not that you have to pay a huge amount of money for your marriage. Next slide. So thank you. Let us have a healthy and peaceful life. Thank you for your patient listening.
We invite Mrs. M. Manjusha, Assistant Professor, Department of Psychology, Dr. M.J. Janaki College.
Excited and privileged to have the opportunity to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Binita V. Thambi. Dr. Binita is an Associate Professor in the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT Madras. She has a multidisciplinary background with a PhD in Development Studies. Her research interests are in the areas of gender and development, decentralized planning and governance, poverty, social exclusion and marginalization, and ICTs for development. She has handled a number of research projects. Her talents and advocacies aside, Dr. Binita is the prestigious author of several research papers and is the co-author of the book titled New Lamp for All, General Paradoxes of Political Decentralization in Kerala. She has also been a part of several conferences both in India and abroad. Dr. Binita has delivered several speeches entailing gender. On a final note, she is a fascinating individual and we are grateful for her presence among us today. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Binita V. Thambi.
I request Dr. Raghita Radhakrishnan, Head Department of Psychology, Dr. M.J. Janaki College, to felicitate our guest with a sapling and a moment. I now call upon Dr. Binita V. Thambi.
This is lunchtime, I know. And this particular, my effort today, and let me begin with thanking the organizers of this conference, workshop, and I'm privileged. Thank you very much. Today I'll try to summarize debates on feminism all over and briefly talk about Indian feminism, very briefly. My attempt basically is to summarize. So if you have questions in between, you can ask me, stop and ask me. And as you know, summaries do have problems because they are snapshot of a larger picture, always. Next slide. Yeah. To provide you a very, very basic introduction, we talk about gender, and then there is a kind of conceptual understanding on gender as gender relations. It has evolved over a long period of time. The question is, why do we want to know it? Because in order to understand the current ramifications of gender and gender relations in our everyday life, in the larger society, and in the policy realm, so on and so forth, you need to understand the history, how it evolved over a long period of time. And it's also very important, as you know, of late we talk about gender-based violence and the kind of policies that are needed to address the violence. And when you talk about the budget, for instance, economic policies, you are looking at how fairly the allocations are being distributed. So in that sense, it's important to understand social and economic policies in the context of understanding the debates around the question of gender. And as you know, let me also apologize that my understanding on the discipline of psychology is very minimal. I've looked at the scales that you've come up with. Apart from that, my disciplinary understanding is very minimal. But I do have a broader understanding of few other disciplines, political science, economics, sociology. One second, yeah. Then the question is, within gender studies, women's studies, there is a large body of theoretical conceptual scholarship on feminism, on gender, so on and so forth. Then the question is where these theories come from. Why do we formulate theories? Where do they come from? That's a question, right? And oftentimes it's so boring to learn theory, right? Without trying to understand the meaning, its application, so on and so forth. So the point basically is that there is always an organic relationship between theory and the empirical reality. Be it in natural science or in social science. And in that sense, interestingly, we should also understand that we create theories in our everyday lives. We as individuals, because that's how you justify your actions, right? This is fine. Maybe normatively this is incorrect, but you make exceptions. And you come up with generalizations, you justify your own actions, so on and so forth. So don't think that theory is something alien to me, away from me. No, we are all part of the theory making process, theory building process. And the material conditions, our materialities, the material conditions in which we live are contributing significantly in the theory building process, and theory in turn shape our material conditions. For instance, we know that the kind of restrictions women faced are actually significantly changing over past several decades. If you look at how there is an understanding on the freedom of women, feminism, gender. Women are negotiating and changing their everyday life. Materialities in that sense, or material conditions, are changing. So there is a kind of relationship between the material conditions and the theory. And also we need to keep in mind there are various kinds of feminism. Since we are making our own theories every day, there are different kinds of feminisms. And in the academy, we talk about the ones that are well received, celebrated, so on and so forth. But we do it in our everyday life that may not be celebrated, but they are there. And hence, when other people talk about their own experience, their own struggle, their own fight, you need to be open to that, because they are in the process of making theories and living their life accordingly. Next slide. And if you look at women's studies, gender studies, feminist studies as a discipline, there are certain kinds of inherent features, characteristics. One is interdisciplinarity. You might be aware of the term interdisciplinarity, are you? Because it comes from critical disciplinarity. You are within one particular discipline. For instance, I am familiar with economics. And then the discipline has certain kinds of boundaries. So you often realize that such disciplinary boundaries are problematic. You want to understand a particular problem with the help of other disciplines. For instance, voting behavior. Psychology is important. Behavioral economics, for instance, drawing significantly from the discipline of psychology. So you develop a kind of critical disciplinarity and you move towards an interdisciplinary approach. So this is an inherent character of the women's studies, feminist studies, gender studies discipline. And there is something called intersectionality, which is very important. The understanding is that oppressive condition of women, subordination of women, are not just shaped by gender, but by other axes of social power, other divisions in the society, caste, class, race, ethnicity, so on and so forth. So these divisions, along with gender, producing certain kinds of enabling factors for certain women, disabling factors for certain other groups of women. So it's so important to look at Dalit women. The kind of experience of Dalit women are significantly different from that of Brahmin women, right? So it's not just that they are women, there are other factors producing, and you call it as intersectionality. And if you look at feminist epistemology, the meaning of the word epistemology is the history of scholarship. It's always important to look at the history of scholarship. How scholarship, for instance, psychology as a scholarship, how it evolved over time, and the critique of Freudian formulation, for instance, you must be aware of that. Feminists, for instance, have thoroughly criticized, which I'll come to that point later. So the argument basically is that you need not have to unconditionally embrace any scholarship. You have to critically engage with scholarship, because every scholarship has a particular politics. The previous speaker talked about the obesity question and the kind of scientific evidence that are coming in. So just because of the fact that it's scholarship, scientific evidence, you don't have to embrace it, you have to question it and to look at the evidences, so on and so forth. And also, hence, we need to understand the fact that the scholarship production is not value-free, it's value-laden. So then the question basically is that who produced scholarship, knowledge on women? Is it significantly different from the Marxian framework? Basically, the question of situated knowledge over there, because Marxism talks about class difference, bourgeoisie and the proletariat, and how much ever bourgeoisie empathize with the proletariat, they don't understand the experience and they have different class interests. So a feminist standpoint is the standpoint of women as a group. They understand, they take against the kind of oppression. And the experience matters, right? And the empiricism is the evidence, the experiential evidence. So feminist theories talking about theorizing based on your experience. and hence women do have a kind of privilege precisely because of the experience and the kind of understanding they have. And there are, as I said, modernity's framework, and there are criticism to the framework of modernity, and as you know, you must have read or heard somewhere, postmodern, post-structural, post-colonial understanding, because they all came out of a critique of the understanding of modernity. Next slide. There is what I'm trying now with this introduction is trying to basically roughly map the different traditions of feminism. They are not different waves of feminism. Have you heard of first wave, second wave, third wave feminism? Heard of that? No. All right. So my attempt is to roughly map them. I'll summarize. We don't have so much of time, and this is lunch time, so I'll try to summarize. The first wave was started in late 16th century. 1792, Mary Wollstonecraft talked about voting rights. John Stuart Mill talked about the subjection of women, so on and so forth. Until 1920s, this continued, primarily talking about the voting rights and the property rights of women, and then they were basically individual rights question. And the second wave feminism started around 1960s, particularly in the first world, Europe and US. And there was a period of counterculture in the US because after the Second World War, we know that there is a kind of economic boom in the United States. Economically, United States was doing well, and there was also a baby boom at that point in time because people were coming back home and they wanted to have the family, have children. So all those familial ideologies were abundant at that point in time. And there is also women who were working in the factories, stopped working, started having families, looking after their children, so on and so forth, kind of housewifeization. And also there is anti-war movement, Vietnam War, heard of that? Vietnam War in 70s, 60s, 70s, lasted 55 from 79, it was a long period. And in the US, a new left group came out, environmental activism came out, feminism was also part of all these movements over there. So there was actually a kind of disillusionment among the young people, college-going students for instance, against the American dream that the state proposed. They were actually coming up with an alternate vision of the world. By and large, young people, and next slide. So this is the kind of context materialities basically produced second wave feminism at that point in time. So there are various strands of feminism, liberal, radical, Marxist socialist, psychoanalytic feminism. French feminists were part of the psychoanalytic feminism. I'm just briefly talking about it. I have actually summarized one full course, 40 lectures in 1 hour. So I know the problem in doing that, but just giving you an overview, that's it. So basically the liberalism, you must have heard of the term, he is a very liberal person. Liberal, that policy is very liberal.